Jennifer, you're incredibly qualified on paper, but I'm concerned about culture fit. The words landed softly, almost apologetically, but Jennifer Williams heard them loud and clear. She'd been hearing variations of this phrase for 6 months, ever since she started wearing hijab at tech interviews. She sat across from Brad Hutchins, co-founder of TechFlow, a hot Silicon Valley startup that had just raised $50 million in Series B funding. His office had exposed brick walls, a standing desk, and a mini basketball hoop. Very Silicon Valley, very 2024. Can you elaborate on what you mean by culture fit? Jennifer asked, her Midwest accent still carrying traces of Iowa despite 5 years in California. Brad shifted uncomfortably. Well, our team is really close-knit. We do happy hours on Fridays, team building at bars, weekend hackathons that sometimes run late. I'm just not sure if that environment would be comfortable for you. Translation: we're not sure a hijabi woman belongs in tech bro culture. Have you ever been told you're too qualified, but somehow still not right? Jennifer was 32, a senior software engineer with 5 years of experience at major tech companies. She'd graduated from Stanford with a computer science degree. She had contributions to 3 open source projects used by millions. Her GitHub was pristine, her recommendations glowing. But 3 years ago, she'd converted to Islam after marrying her husband Omar. And 6 months ago, after years of spiritual growth, she'd started wearing hijab. Since then, 47 job applications, 12 phone screens, 8 technical interviews, 3 final rounds, 0 offers. The reasons varied. Pursuing other candidates, budget constraints, position filled internally. But Jennifer knew. She'd worked in tech long enough to read between the lines. Brad, Jennifer said carefully, I've worked in tech for 5 years. I've done plenty of happy hours. I just order non-alcoholic drinks. I've done weekend hackathons. I've been on teams with diverse work styles. Has anyone on your team expressed concern about working with a Muslim woman? No, it's not about religion. It's just, you know how tech culture is. Casual, loose. I'm worried you might feel out of place. Have you asked me if I'd feel out of place? Brad's smile became strained. Jennifer, I think you're amazing, truly. But I have to think about team dynamics. We're a small company. Everyone needs to gel. Jennifer had heard enough. She knew this interview was over before it began. But she had one more question. Brad, your job posting said you were looking for someone who can optimize your back-end infrastructure, someone who knows distributed systems, someone who can scale your database architecture from 10,000 users to 10 million users. Yes, exactly. And you've been searching for 6 months without finding anyone. It's a very specific skill set. I have that exact skill set. I redesigned the backend for a platform with 50 million users at my last company. I reduced latency by 40% and cut server costs by $2 million annually. You need someone who can do exactly what I've already done. But you're worried about happy hour attendance? Jennifer, I appreciate your confidence, but technical skills aren't everything. Team cohesion matters. Would you ask a Christian woman if she'd be comfortable at happy hour? That's different. How? The silence was heavy and telling. I think we're done here, Brad said, standing. We'll be in touch. They both knew he wouldn't be. You won't believe what Jennifer did next. Jennifer sat in her car in TechFlow's parking lot for 10 minutes, processing what just happened. Again, the same rejection, different words. She opened LinkedIn on her phone, 12,000 followers built over years of posting about tech solutions, mentoring junior developers, and contributing to the community. She started typing, "I just got rejected from another tech job. Not because I'm not qualified. I have the exact experience they need. Not because I failed the technical, I aced it, but because of culture fit." Here's what culture fit actually means. You wear hijab, and we're not sure our beer pong startup culture can handle that.
I'm Jennifer Williams. I'm from Iowa. I graduated from Stanford. I've been coding since I was 14. I converted to Islam 3 years ago and started wearing hijab 6 months ago. Since then, I've been rejected from 47 tech positions. The reasons are always vague. Culture fit, team dynamics, environment concerns. But here's what companies are actually saying. We want diversity in our marketing materials, not in our engineering teams. We want women in tech, as long as they look and act like men. We want inclusion, as long as it doesn't make happy hour awkward. To tech recruiters reading this, I can optimize your back-end infrastructure. I can scale your systems. I can reduce your latency and cut your costs. But I can't do it if you won't hire me because I pray 5 times a day and don't drink alcohol. The irony? The tech industry prides itself on meritocracy, on innovation, on disruption. But we can't disrupt our own biases. I'm putting this out there not because I'm giving up, but because I'm done staying quiet. How many other brilliant engineers are being filtered out before they even get a chance? If your culture fit excludes qualified people who don't match your demographic, you don't have culture, you have a club. Hashtag tech diversity, hashtag Muslim in tech, hashtag women in STEM, hashtag culture fit. She hit post before she could second guess herself. Within an hour, 347 likes. Within 3 hours, 2,891 likes. 156 comments. By evening, 15,000 likes, trending on LinkedIn. The comments exploded. "This is exactly what's wrong with tech. Thank you for speaking up. I'm a recruiter and I'm guilty of this. This post is making me rethink everything. Jennifer, your GitHub is incredible. Any company that passes on you is making a huge mistake. But also, maybe you should consider if you're the problem, not them. Tech culture is what it is. If you don't like it, find another industry. Religion shouldn't be brought into the workplace." The backlash was swift and predictable. But something else happened too. A comment from someone named Alex Chen, CTO of Data Corp. "Jennifer, I see your GitHub shows you're great at distributed systems. We're hosting a live coding challenge next week, optimizing a database under load. 10K prize, top 50 engineers competing. If culture fit is the issue, let your code speak. Interested?" Jennifer's heart raced. A live coding competition. Public. Streamed. Witnessed. She replied, "I'm in." The comment went viral within tech circles. LinkedIn, Twitter, Hacker News, everyone was watching. Hijabi engineer challenges tech industry bias through code competition. TechCrunch picked it up. Culture fit debate goes public. Jennifer Williams to compete in live coding challenge. The narrative was perfect. Rejected engineer proving her worth through pure technical merit. Brad from TechFlow saw the articles. His company was getting mentioned, not by name, but everyone in Silicon Valley knew which interview had triggered Jennifer's post. His inbox filled with angry messages. His company's Glassdoor rating dropped 2 points overnight. The Data Corp Challenge was held in San Francisco, live streamed on YouTube and Twitch. 50 of the best back-end engineers in the country. 6 hours to solve an impossible problem. Optimize a distributed database handling 100 million requests per second without dropping packets or exceeding latency limits. Jennifer arrived wearing a professional blazer and her hijab. Camera crews noticed immediately. She was the only visibly Muslim competitor. one of 7 women total. The live stream chat exploded. Is that the LinkedIn woman? Jennifer Williams is actually competing. This is going to be good. The problem was released at 9 a.m. Engineers dove into their keyboards. The live stream showed everyone's progress in real time, lines of code appearing, errors compiling, solutions evolving. Jennifer's approach was different from the others. While most engineers focused on horizontal scaling, she identified a caching optimization that others missed. Her background in high-load systems gave her an edge. 2 hours in, she was in the top 10. 4 hours in, top 5. The live stream chat was going crazy. She's actually winning. Her optimization is brilliant. Brad from TechFlow watching this like,
but the truly shocking part was still coming. At hour 5, with 1 hour left, Jennifer hit a wall. Her solution worked, but exceeded latency limits by 3%. She needed a breakthrough. She closed her laptop, pulled out her prayer rug, and prayed. Right there, in the middle of the competition, on camera, in front of 47,000 live stream viewers. The chat erupted. Is she praying? It's her prayer time. She's Muslim. She's doing this now, during the competition? That's actually badass. 5 minutes of prayer. Then she returned to her keyboard. 10 minutes later, she found the solution. A novel approach to query optimization that reduced latency by 7%, better than the minimum required. With 15 minutes to spare, she submitted her code. The judges ran the tests. The live stream waited. Her solution passed. First place. The room erupted in applause. The live stream chat scrolled faster than anyone could read. 47,000 people had just watched a hijabi engineer win a major coding competition after stopping to pray in the middle of it. Jennifer didn't celebrate. She just smiled quietly and closed her laptop. The video of Jennifer praying during the competition went mega viral, not just in tech circles, everywhere. 2.3 million views in 24 hours, featured on Good Morning America, trending across every social platform. Muslim engineer wins coding competition after pausing to pray, NPR. Jennifer Williams proves culture fit isn't about beer pong, TechCrunch. The prayer that broke Silicon Valley, Wired. Her LinkedIn exploded, 180,000 new followers, her DMs filled with job offers. 15 companies reached out within 48 hours. But the company that reached out first was surprising. Brad's email. Subject, I was wrong. Jennifer, I'm writing to apologize. Your LinkedIn post was about my interview with you. I know it, you know it, and apparently half of Silicon Valley knows it. You were right. I rejected you because I couldn't imagine how you'd fit into our culture, which really meant I couldn't imagine having to think differently about team building and happy hours and casual Fridays. I told myself it was about team cohesion, but it was about my own comfort, about not wanting to adjust or accommodate, about assuming that someone who prays 5 times a day couldn't possibly be as committed as someone who does beer pong at 2 a.m. Watching you win that competition and watching you stop to pray in the middle of it taught me something. Culture fit shouldn't mean people who look and act like us. It should mean people who share our values of excellence, dedication, and results. You stopped to pray and still beat 49 other engineers. That's not a culture fit problem. That's a me problem. I'm not asking you to reconsider TechFlow. I know I burned that bridge. But I want you to know that your post changed how we hire. We've completely rewritten our interview process, removed the culture fit assessment, added structured questions about accommodating diverse work styles. You made us better by calling us out. Thank you for that. Brad. Jennifer read the email twice. She appreciated the apology, but she'd already accepted an offer from DataCorp, Alex Chen's company. The CTO who'd invited her to compete had offered her a senior engineering position with full accommodation for prayer times, flexible hours for Ramadan, and a salary 30% higher than what TechFlow would have paid. But more importantly, DataCorp committed to making her first project a diversity initiative. Hiring without bias, a technical approach. 6 months later, Jennifer's LinkedIn following had grown to 340,000. She'd become an unexpected voice for Muslim women in tech, for converts navigating professional spaces, for anyone who'd been told they weren't a culture fit. But she wasn't interested in being a spokesperson. She was interested in writing code and changing systems.
The hiring without bias tool she built at DataCorp used AI to flag potentially discriminatory language in job descriptions and interview feedback. It analyzed patterns, how often culture fit was used to reject candidates of certain demographics, how interview scores varied based on candidate photos, how offers differed by name and ethnicity. The tool was offered free to tech companies. 127 companies adopted it in the first 6 months. Results were stark. 34% reduction in culture fit rejections, 52% increase in diverse candidate advancement, 23% increase in offers to hijabi candidates specifically. But the real victory was cultural. Jennifer spoke at TechConf, one of the industry's largest conferences. Her talk? The myth of meritocracy, how culture fit kills innovation. 5,000 attendees, standing room only. "I'm not here to tell you I faced discrimination," she began. "You watched me face it in real time on LinkedIn. I'm here to tell you what discrimination costs." She clicked to a slide showing the engineers who'd competed with her. Of the 50 engineers in that competition, 12 were women, 8 were people of color, 3 were visibly Muslim or Sikh. Those 23 underrepresented engineers, they applied to an average of 73 jobs before getting offers. The 27 men who looked like typical tech bros, average of 8 applications. She paused. That's not meritocracy, that's gatekeeping. Another slide, the cost of culture fit. Every qualified engineer rejected for culture fit is a product that doesn't get built, a problem that doesn't get solved, an innovation that doesn't happen. You're not protecting your culture, you're limiting your potential. The applause was thunderous. After the talk, a young woman in hijab approached hesitantly. "Ms. Williams, I'm a freshman studying computer science. I was thinking about dropping out because I didn't see anyone like me in this field. Then I saw your competition video. You made me believe I could do this." Jennifer felt the weight of representation. "What's your name?" "Aisha." "Aisha, you don't need to be like anyone else in this field. The field needs to make room for you as you are." Conversations like that happened dozens of times at the conference. Young Muslim women, Black engineers, Latino developers, Asian programmers, all saying the same thing. "You showed me it's possible." 1 year later, Jennifer's LinkedIn post, the one written in a parking lot after another rejection, became the most shared tech industry post of the decade. 2.7 million views, translated into 23 languages, featured in business school case studies. But the real impact was measured in changed policies. 89 tech companies rewrote their interview processes. Culture fit was removed from 156 hiring rubrics. 12 states introduced legislation requiring bias training for tech recruiters. The DataCorp Challenge became an annual event, deliberately inclusive. Prayer rooms provided, dietary restrictions accommodated, accessibility prioritized. It became the most prestigious coding competition in the industry, not despite its inclusivity, but because of it. TechFlow, Brad's company, became an unexpected leader in diversity hiring. Brad's apology, combined with genuine reform, turned the company into a case study of how to recover from discrimination scandals. They published their hiring data publicly, showed measurable improvement, and funded scholarships for Muslim women in STEM. Jennifer received the Tech Women Innovation Award. Her acceptance speech was characteristically direct. "I didn't set out to change tech culture. I just wanted a job. But getting rejected 47 times taught me something important. Systematic discrimination isn't a series of bad individuals. It's a system that makes it easier to exclude than to accommodate." She paused. The solution isn't asking underrepresented people to change. It's asking systems to evolve. I stopped to pray in the middle of a competition and still won. That should tell you something about the relationship between faith and excellence." The audience, full of tech leaders, venture capitalists, and engineers, gave her a 5-minute standing ovation. Jennifer stood in the Stanford Computer Science building, invited back as a guest lecturer, the same building where she'd learned to code a decade earlier. A student asked, "Do you ever regret posting that LinkedIn message? Some people say you made yourself unemployable." Jennifer smiled. "I made myself unemployable at companies that were never going to value me anyway, but I made myself essential to companies that understood what diversity actually means." Another student, "What advice do you have for Muslim women going into tech?"
Don't hide who you are to make others comfortable. Your hijab, your prayer times, your faith, those aren't obstacles to your excellence. They're part of what makes you excellent. Any company that can't see that doesn't deserve your talent. A young man in a kufi raised his hand. "I'm scared to wear this to interviews. Did you ever take off your hijab just to get hired?" Jennifer shook her head. "Never. Because here's the truth. If I have to hide my faith to get hired, I'll have to hide it to get promoted, to get projects, to be respected. That's not a career. That's a closet." She pulled up her original LinkedIn post on the screen. This post was terrifying to write. I knew it might make me unemployable, but it also made me unforgettable. It showed everyone who I am, not just a good engineer, but a Muslim woman who won't compromise her identity for comfort. She clicked to show the competition video, the moment she stopped to pray. This moment defined my career, not because it was brave, but because it was authentic. I didn't pray to make a statement. I prayed because it was prayer time. The fact that this shocked people says more about tech culture than it does about me. The lecture ended with a Q&A that ran an hour over time. Students, Muslim and non-Muslim, women and men, white and brown and black, stayed to talk about navigating bias, maintaining identity, demanding space, instead of asking for permission. As Jennifer packed her laptop, a professor approached. "You know," the professor said, 10 years ago, I would have told students like you to tone it down, to fit in first, then change things from the inside. But you've proven that wrong. You changed things from the outside by refusing to get inside on their terms." Jennifer smiled. Someone was going to be the first hijabi engineer to go viral. Might as well be someone who can actually code. Jennifer Williams wasn't a CEO. She didn't own the company. She didn't have institutional power. What she had was code that worked, faith that sustained her, and the courage to refuse to hide. Culture fit is often code for people like us. It preserves homogeneity while claiming meritocracy. It protects comfort while sacrificing excellence. Jennifer didn't defeat culture fit by being exceptional, though she was. She defeated it by being visible, by refusing to make her faith private, to make others comfortable, by demonstrating that prayer and productivity aren't opposed, they're integrated. The tech industry learned a $10 billion lesson. Every time you reject a qualified candidate for culture fit, you're not protecting your culture, you're limiting your ceiling. The engineers you exclude might be the ones who solve the problems your homogeneous team can't see. Innovation doesn't come from everyone thinking alike. It comes from different perspectives colliding. Jennifer Williams proved that with code, with prayer, and with a LinkedIn post that refused to stay quiet. 5 years later, Jennifer's team at DataCorp had grown to 45 engineers, Muslim women, Christian women, atheist women, Black men, white men, Asian men, Latino men, Orthodox Jews, practicing Hindus, committed Buddhists. The most diverse engineering team in Silicon Valley, also the most productive. Their product, the bias detection tool, had been adopted by 847 companies globally. It had documented and eliminated thousands of discriminatory hiring practices.
It had opened doors for tens of thousands of engineers who would have been rejected for culture fit. But Jennifer's favorite achievement was simpler. TechFlow, the company that rejected her, had just hired its first hijabi engineer, a Stanford graduate, brilliant coder, submitted her application after watching Jennifer's competition video. Brad sent Jennifer an email. "She's everything you said we needed. Thank you for teaching us to see it." Jennifer didn't respond. She just smiled and returned to her code. Because that's what engineers do. They solve problems. They optimize systems. They make things better. Jennifer Williams had done all three, not by hiding who she was, but by refusing to be anything less. Have you been told you're not a culture fit? Have you hidden your identity to make others comfortable? Have you watched qualified people get rejected for reasons that have nothing to do with competence? The tech industry is changing, but only because people like Jennifer refuse to stay quiet. Your LinkedIn post could be next. Your competition win could be next. Your refusal to hide could open doors for hundreds who come after you. Share this if you believe culture fit should mean values, not demographics. Subscribe for more stories of people who changed industries by refusing to change themselves.